AITA for not passing on an heirloom to my daughter-in-law. I am 48F and my eldest is 22M. He's been with his fiancée, Dill, since they were 20 and he wants to marry her. I'd always liked her before now. She's a smart girl. She fits in well with the family. She's driven. And she makes my son happy. Everything was all roses until they got engaged. Now since I was little I was fascinated with jewelry. When I was older and married and had my own income I started to collect rings. I would design them myself. Used to ask friends and family to give me cash I could put towards them. And save up my disposable income towards whatever ring I wanted. Edit 2. Okay, apparently this above paragraph is controversial. It is the custom of my family since always to give cash in celebrations. It's also very normal in my community to ask your friends to give cash. I have done this myself for my friends. However, the majority of the cost of each piece of jewelry was always borne by me. Whatever I got from birthdays was a bonus top-up, not something I relied on to be able to afford it. It would be less than 10% of each piece, definitely not the bulk. 10% being the highest, but mostly it was around the 34% mark if any. Sorry, but quite a few comments are being derailed by this. I wasn't buying one every year, but over time I have a nice collection of rings. My favorite are a sapphire with a halo of diamonds, an emerald in a trilogy with 1-quart diamonds either side, and a ruby set in a pavé band. After son got engaged and we invited him and Dill to dinner at home. Dill asked to speak to me. She said she's been seeing my emerald ring over the years and she has always wanted one. She pointed out that I wear it least often, which is true, and demanded that I gift it to her as an heirloom engagement ring. This is in addition to other wedding gifts and expenses we had discussed as a family during dinner. This includes gold to the value of approximately £6,000, which is honestly more than my entire wedding cost, and which I still think is a significant amount. This rubbed me the wrong way, and I admit I accused her of trying to pick through my estate before I'm even dead. I told her the ring is mine and I can even sell it on my deathbed if I want to. She has no right to expect it, and she's being a rude brat by demanding it. She yelled at me that something like this can't just be sold. It should be an heirloom, and it's normal for heirlooms to be passed on while the wearer is still alive. I told her to leave if she was just in my home to demand my property, and she stormed out, taking my son with her. She's mad at me, and son says I should have just passed the ring to her since I have others and it would be a nice gesture to welcome her to the family. He says it's no different than his sister occasionally borrowing some of my pieces. My husband and my daughter are on my side, but this is the first time my son has shut me out like this. So AITA? Edit. Dill has an engagement ring already. It's beautiful and I would call it expensive. This is not a case of her being proposed to without a ring. NTA. Your Dill is quite the entitled gold or emerald digger. If she wanted it for an engagement ring, the proper thing would have been for your son to discuss it with you. Her asking for it is shocking and rude. It's not an heirloom if you are the first owner in the family. Heirlooms tend to have generations behind them, and they are not necessarily given away during the owner's lifetime. Many family mementos are distributed as part of an estate after the owner is deceased. Don't loan anything to her or you will never see it again. This ring is not an heirloom because it was never passed down through generations. It's just a personal piece with no intention of being passed down. This is not the same as people borrowing jewelry, because those are eventually returned. Keep an eye out on your jewelry. If she wants an emerald ring so bad, she can trade her engagement ring and have one designed for herself so that it's unique. NTA. That particular ring is not an heirloom yet. It's an active part of your wardrobe. B. It's an expensive piece of jewelry. If you chose to gift jewelry to her, it would be on your terms as to say which piece would be gifted. For what occasion, as in birthday, 10th anniversary, birth of first daughter, so it can be passed along to become an heirloom. C. It was massively insensitive, kinda insulting. Like trying someone else's wedding dress before that person got married. Offensive. D. Asking to start a tradition is not wrong. Can even be a nice bonding experience. Demanding that someone gift a pricey personal jewelry piece to do so just seems greedy. E. I'm 47. If my daughter starts talking about how I'm old, I'd just give up my things now because I'm almost dead and should start acting like an old woman from Stereotypes 1900. I would embarrass her in front of her friends so hard by not acting my age, she wouldn't know where to bury herself. Open mouth smile, yuck. And she knows it. It's not enough she considers my closet as ours. Every woman, even a young dumb 20-year-old woman, knows better than to try to invade another woman's jewelry box or shoes closet and to insinuate you are past your prime so you don't need those anymore. She's not so smart, that cookie. Inta, my dear. Edit NTA. Did your son tell her to ask for it? If he proposed, usually it's with a ring. If he didn't have one, he probably promised her one of yours and it blew up in his face. I'd talk to him. NTA. What are the odds she'll remember it's a family heirloom and give it back when they divorce? You'll never see it again. Besides, you have a daughter and one day maybe granddaughters. They are the people you leave your jewelry to. NTA. I'm not dead yet. Yes, you are. You'll be stone dead in a moment. I'm getting better. Quote. NTA. She had no right to the ring. It's not an heirloom until you choose to make it one. If she wanted the ring, she should have spoken to your son about it, and he should have come to you privately to ask if he could use it for her engagement ring. You still would have been under no obligation to give it her, and it still would be a little weird that she's just asking for one of your possessions. But that at least would have been a reasonable way to handle it. Your future dill sounds a little crazy, and they are still very young to be getting married. Good luck with her in the future. I have a feeling you'll need it. NTA. I don't know anything about your DIL's background, but where I'm from, she has some very strange ideas about tradition, manners, and property rights. NTA. That's incredibly entitled to demand the ring. Full stop. Even if we ignore your age. You're only 48 FFS. Who demands another person just give up one of their most treasured possessions? Yeah, I think it's time to take a look at the will. It's pretty crass of her to ask for your things. NTA. I don't see that kind of entitlement rubbing off well over your son over time. She will be an ex-in-law at some point. Emo. NTA. There is no charitable way to describe her actions. They were completely out of line no matter how you look at it. NTA. Your dill is a greedy and thoughtless person. My guess is that the marriage won't last. Keep your ring. NTA. The ring isn't an heirloom. It's your personal property. Your FDIL is just calling an heirloom to justify her entitled attitude. If she wants an emerald ring, she can save up and buy her own. Tell FDIL that you don't plan to die for decades but will consider making her an heir to the ring after your death in 3 or 4 decades. I recommend that you keep all of your jewelry in a locked security box when you aren't wearing it. And avoid setting your rings down, such as when you're washing your hands. NTA. Heirloom are passed to an heir not just because someone likes it. They are gift, not a request. If your son wanted one of your special collection of rings as an engagement ring, he should have asked you before getting engaged. NTA. That's such a weird thing to do. Like no normal person would ask their potential MILF for jewelry. She's very crass. NTA. An heirloom is offered, not demanded. It would have been different if your son had come to you privately to discuss it. Your future dill is going to be trouble. NTA. And your soon-to-be dill is a piece of work. NTA. You can't ask someone to pass down an heirloom. That's not how it's done. The owner has to decide they want to give it to you. For whatever reason that the owner decides. Now Op knows that the fiancé is coveting that piece of her jewelry. Make sure it's safe and far from her. I'd go so far as to make sure now that all your jewelry currently has a designated N. Will it sell, etc., so that she never gets her greedy hands on it. The only thing I might really depends on how much you actually like your son is have a nice ring made in the same style. For her, say it's your wedding gift to them. Or her specifically. Doesn't have to be the same quality or size. But a nice quality. How was your 22-year-old son able to afford a 1-carat diamond ring? Just curious. NTA. Future dill is mighty entitled. NTA. Wow, she's highly entitled, isn't she? Tell your son it's not the same thing. One is borrowing, the other is trying to get their grubby little hands on it forever. Yes, there is a difference. His wife didn't say, "Can I wear this for my wedding day?" I would never have the audacity to tell someone they haven't been wearing a piece of jewelry much lately and therefore should just go ahead and gift it to me. WTF? I would like to add. I know it's a long way off, but I would make sure you list all your pieces in the will and who they go to. Because she's already shown you she thinks she's entitled to them and she will go after what she wants.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.